Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. I hope you're doing well. Sorry, I just heard a very loud crash out there. My children have been left to their own devices and I'm a little bit nervous about it. So if you hear thudding and things in the background, I'm sorry. But this week, our education, we are talking about how our bodies actually burn calories and what's most important. So this one might be a little bit longer because it's a little bit more educational. I do have my handy dandy notes here. So if you see me looking down or reading something, it's because I just want to make sure that I'm accurately getting it across. I'm not going down any rabbit holes and that everything, is as it should be. So one of the biggest things I've noticed over the years with coaching is that most people dramatically overestimate how many calories they burn during exercise, and they underestimate the impact of daily habits. So understanding where calories are actually burned helps us focus on the things that matter the most. And I think one big thing to do with it is these guys right here, because we have a lot of things that tell us, oh, you burned 500 calories this workout or 400 calories this workout. And the problem is they're not very accurate, not really at all. The most accurate ones are the ones that go around your chest and they clip down here underneath your chest, and they're not even 100% accurate. So I think that's one of the biggest culprits. But I kind of wanted to jump into, there's 5 acronyms and there's 5 really ways that we burn calories, and I want to talk about them, go over what they mean, and the percentages from which, how much of our calories burned comes from those things. And the first one, it's 4 ways we burn calories, and this first one is just kind of what they fall under. So our total daily energy expenditure, TDEE, total daily energy expenditure, is the total number of calories that our body burns from all sources combined in a day. Okay, so one of the biggest things we look at, I look at as a nutrition and fitness coach is, how much potentially is your TDEE, right? How much through all the things you're doing in your day, how many calories are you burning? And that's why I ask in your intake forms, what your job is, how many times you work out a week, and all of those things, because it plays into the calories that I have you consume with your nutrition. The next thing, and this is the biggest thing where all of my formulas start, is your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. Your basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories you burn at rest just to keep you alive. It's how many calories you burn breathing. Sorry, there's a bug. No, go away. How many calories you burn breathing, your heart beating, organ function, body temperature regulation, and just basic survival, okay? This is the biggest one. This is just how many calories you burn existing. And for most people, this accounts to 60 to 70% of your total calories burned throughout the day. And this is, one of the reasons why rest is so important. And we'll get into this next week, is that it's so important because you burn most of your calories when you're resting, doing absolutely nothing, just existing. Again, I talked about this last week a little bit. The more lean muscle mass we have on our bodies, the more calories we burn doing nothing. So the better our basal metabolic rate is. So that's super important, okay? So the biggest way we burn calories is just existing, just living. That's the biggest way we burn calories, all right? The second way we burn calories is NEAT. So the acronym is NEAT, N-E-A-T, and it stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Big fancy words, okay? And those are calories burned every day through movement outside of exercise, all right? So walking, the steps that we get, cleaning, shopping, working, standing, fidgeting, yard work. I'm trying to think what else. Chasing the kids around. This right here can account for 15 to 30% of your total calories burned in the day. It is one of the most overlooked fat loss tools, period. And this is one of the big reasons, I'll talk about it a little bit, but this is one of the big reasons I say make sure you guys are getting those 10,000 steps a day. Because this right here, our NEAT, is our biggest tool and our biggest power to burning fat and losing weight if that's our goal. And the biggest thing is, it's little things, right? Like it starts with, I'm gonna take the stairs instead of the elevator. I am going to park really far away from my job or really far away at the grocery store or wherever it is I'm going, and I'm going to walk all that extra distance because it's all adding up throughout the day and it's all these extra calories, and it's the second biggest way that we burn calories. All right, the next way is called TEF or TEF, and this is the thermic effect of food. This is calories burned digesting our food, absorbing and processing the foods that we eat. And this is usually about 10% of our daily calorie expenditure. Now, here's the cool thing, because in the first education I talked about how important protein is. Well, protein has the highest thermic effect. All right, this is one of the reasons high proteins diets are extremely helpful, because it takes the most amount of energy for us to digest protein. So when we have a higher protein diet, we're feeding our muscles if we break them down in the gym, and now we're burning extra calories digesting them, and then because we're fueling the muscles we broke down, we're building that lean muscle tissue, and now we're burning more calories just existing and living life, because muscle takes energy to maintain. So it's a really cool little cycle, all right? Then the last way, and I was surprised when I learned this. When I was going through school and I learned all this really surprised me. But the last way that we burn calories is called EAT, E-A-T, which is exercise activity thermogenesis. And as you guessed it, this is exercise burned in intentional exercise such as lifting weights, running, swimming, biking, hiking, any kind of, fitness class or sport. And for most people, this is only about 5 to 10% of calories burned in a day. So the biggest one is our BMR, just existing. So I'm all excited, I'm all worked up, I'm talking too fast, apologies. But it's our BMR, our basal metabolic rate, just existing. Then NEAT, so non-exercise activity thermogenesis. The steps, the fidgeting, the moving around, the chasing of the kids, just being an active body, everything outside of exercise. Then the two that are kind of on par is our thermic effect of food, so TEF, and our exercise activity thermogenesis, EAT. TEF is about 10%, but then our exercise is only 5 to 10%. And that just depends on how much exercise we're getting, how much we're doing. This shocked me because I grew up in sports, working out really hard, and I didn't eat crazy, but I grew up being like, you gotta exercise to lose weight and look good. And obviously exercise is important. We talked about that last week. Talked about the importance of lifting weights and cardiovascular health and those kinds of things. So it does matter, but it only counts for 5 to 10% of how we burn calories as human beings. That's not a big amount at all. And so the biggest mistake that I see people make is most people believe that working out can burn the majority of calories they need to reach their goal. And in reality, the workout is often the smallest piece of the puzzle, as we see here. And that's why you often see so many people. And when I owned the gym, it would drive me crazy because I would see people that would come in 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week, and they were working hard. They were working their butts off, and they were doing well, but their weight wasn't changing. Their body wasn't changing much, and they were so frustrated. And it's because it only accounts for 5 to 10% of how we burn our calories. And this, I said I would kind of jump back to this, but this is why steps matter so much. Okay, so a workout may last 30 to 60 minutes, but the other 23 hours of the day matter too. So increasing our movement can often create much more of a calorie burn than adding in a bunch of cardio. And steps are the easiest way to do it because, like I said, you park farther away, you take the stairs instead of the elevator, you go on multiple 5, 10, 15-minute walks throughout the day, and now you're burning more calories and you're not beating yourself into the ground doing it, spending 2 hours in the gym. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about understanding fat loss. And this is really important. But 1 pound of body fat contains about 3,500 calories. Okay, so to lose 1 pound a week, you generally need an average deficit of about 500 calories a day. Now, usually when it comes to nutrition, I try to put people anywhere from a 200 to 500 calorie deficit, depending on how much weight they need to lose. And kind of their habits and their bodies and stuff like that, because sometimes a 500 calorie deficit can be really extreme and it's not healthy, right? So likewise, consistently eating 500 extra calories above our maintenance, so above our BMR, can lead to 1 pound of weight gain per week. And that's really easy, guys. You think about it, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter is 200 calories. So you have, you know, like a peanut butter sandwich, some M&Ms, maybe like a Starbucks drink, and you're already there. You're already over your maintenance. Okay, so that's a really, really big thing. And that's why you cannot out-train a poor diet. And I know people say this, but I don't really think I grasped it for a long time until I understood these concepts. And it's because it's so much easier to consume calories than to burn them. Like I just said, it's so much easier to eat the kids extra chicken nuggets. It's so much easier to eat the extra mac and cheese they leave, or it's so much easier to, you know, I'm the kind of person where like if we have a dessert, I'll walk by and have a bite. And then like an hour later, I'll walk by and have another bite. And then the next thing I know, at the end of the day, I've probably had 2 or 3 pieces worth of cake instead of just sitting down and having 1 piece of cake. And I'm way over my calories for the day, right? So like I said, a coffee drink, a handful of snacks, a restaurant meal, alcohol. This is a big one. If you're not tracking your alcohol, you need to be tracking your alcohol. Okay, because it's its own macronutrient, but it usually comes off as carbohydrates and apps, but it still counts, all right? Still counts. These all can easily erase the calorie deficit we create by doing a workout, because on average, most workouts burn 200 to 500 calories in that workout, all right? So how does this fit in everything? How does this fit into our goals? Well, nutrition controls calorie intake, like plain and simple. Strength training builds and preserves the muscle. So daily movement increases expenditure, recovery supports consistency, and all of it works together for the big picture, all right? So in closing, we're just gonna kind of run over this, all right? If 1 pound of fat loss is roughly 3,500 calories and your workout only burned 250 calories, that's less than 10% of the energy needed to lose a pound of fat. That's why, this is what I said, that's why your nutrition and daily habits matter so much more. And this is why I keep telling you guys, because I know a lot of you guys have been dealing with colds or just something that comes up in life, there's graduations. This is why missing one workout doesn't cause why doing one workout doesn't cause fat loss, and why one bad meal doesn't make you gain fat. And why consistency is everything, because it's the cumulative of what we're doing day in and day out, through and through, to eventually make those numbers be what they need to be. So if working out is only 5 to 7% of the calories we burn every day, it makes us say, where should our focus be? Where does my focus need to be? And the answer, and I sent this to all of you guys when we started, is nutrition, protein, right? Because we need to hit protein and calories for the day. So nutrition, protein, steps, then our workouts, and being consistent. This is the most important thing, guys. So I just want to encourage you guys to not obsess over your workouts, whether you did one or didn't do one, but I want you to focus on nutrition. This, I'm telling you, and I know it's a but, because nutrition is so hard. It's the hardest thing for everyone involved. It's the hardest thing for me as well. So, I mean, yesterday I completely overate, completely went over, which I'm trying to gain weight, so it's not a bad thing, but still, it's so hard. So nutrition, and then protein, and then nutrition, protein, our steps, then working out, which hopefully is lifting, right? And sleep and recovery, those things also matter too, but mainly the consistency. We have to be consistent, guys, and we have to, you know, that's why, as annoying as it is, it's the whole 80-20 or 90-10 thing, depending on how extreme you want to be, but you're not going to see results from not working out for a day or two, and you're not going to see results from working out for a day or two. Same with nutrition. You're not going to see results from going over calories a day or two, and you're not going to see results from, you know, hitting your goals for a day or two. This is something that we have to do consistently for forever, and that's the biggest thing I'm trying to teach you, is like, this is a lifestyle, and you hopefully will not have to track your macros forever. you hopefully will maybe get to the point where you can intuitively eat, knowing, understanding what portion sizes look like, or tracking depending on what specific goals are. Like I go through phases, I go through months where I track, I go through months where I don't, and just depends on where I am in life and what my goals are. But the biggest thing is that we have to be consistent. And please know, like, I know that a lot of you guys right now are still kind of early in your coaching with me, and like the results will come. They will come with consistency. You just have to continually do it. So I hope that was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can put them in the comments or you can message me directly. And I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you next week.